All right. All right. So we're going to shift gear. Not so much on technical, but in cybersecurity we always talk about PPT. All right, the technology, the process, and the people, and something which ASEAN actually is behind the curve is actually on the people portion. All right, so we're going to share on how Singapore, after the attack by Anonymous, we changed gear. All right, we realized that we didn't have sufficient number of cybersecurity professionals, and today we are growing. All right, the number of cybersecurity professionals in Singapore, but yet there is a shortage. All right. Let me see why this doesn't move. It doesn't move. Okay, it moves. Okay. All right, so the agenda, all right, introduction, and I'll talk about developing a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem, information security body of knowledge, and lastly, the building up the cybersecurity ecosystem support program. All right, so the AiSP is actually an association that started in 2008. It was supported by the Singapore government, and the purpose was to advance, all right, cybersecurity in Singapore, to also bring about connection in the ecosystem, as well as to excel, all right, which is to improve, all right, the professionalism of cybersecurity professionals. And essentially, this is all the programs that we have under each of these pillars, all right. Okay, so myself, all right, I'm just going to skip this, all right. So the digital world is not without risk, and I think what we have seen, especially after COVID, is an increase in number of attacks. And the primary reason is because during COVID, there was a huge impetus to adopt digital technology, all right, not only by the government, but also by businesses in e-commerce, and as well as individuals who want to keep in touch. All right, so as a result of that, unfortunately, a lot of initiatives and programs were introduced, but very little attention was paid on the security of all these projects. All right, so in Singapore, we have identified 11 industry sectors, all right, that are critical to Singapore. They range from the government, security and emergency, healthcare, media, banking and finance, energy, water, infocom, maritime, aviation, and land transport. So in Thailand, you have the Cybersecurity Act. Similarly, in Singapore, we have the Cybersecurity Act, which provides the government with the law, all right, to actually regulate these 11 critical infrastructure sectors. All right, so developing a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem. All right, there are many cybersecurity careers. All right, and many of these are in Singapore. All right, they are in huge demand. All right, one of the primary reasons is because Singapore is also has a very large install base of cloud providers. Okay, so there are many data centers in Singapore, and therefore the huge demand on cybersecurity talent. Okay. All right, so this report is actually from, I believe it is the Global Cybersecurity Workforce Study by an organization called IC². And in the past, all right, before 2020, we were looking at about 2 to 3 million unfilled jobs, all right? That means jobs that are available, but they could not hire someone to fill that position. After COVID, the situation has worsened. Now it's almost 5.5 million. All right? 5.5 million jobs available, but cannot be filled. And therefore, I always say that the life of a cybersecurity professional you don't have to worry about being unemployed. The biggest challenge is actually not unemployment, but cybersecurity professionals are expected to fulfill the roles, multiple roles. As a matter of fact, many of them, they have to perform, I would say that as much as 2.5 times an ordinary role and responsibility of another profession. For your info, I have a dear friend right here in Bangkok. He's a CISO. And he is not able to come for today's program. He has between 7 to 9 meetings a day. Right? So unfortunately, the lack of cybersecurity talent is also because of absence of a balanced work life. If you realize WannaCry, all right, there was a very major incident. WannaCry happened on a Friday. That Sunday was, was it WannaCry or Log4j? Let me think. Okay, I think it could be Log4j, yes. Log4j happened on a Friday. And that Sunday was actually Mother's Day. Correct? But because there was no patch for Log4j, all right, many CISOs actually stayed in office that weekend. Yeah, they stayed in office that weekend. Okay, I still remember before I, became self-employed. My last employment, and that was in year 2021, Christmas Eve. All right. Usually, where will you be on a Christmas Eve? You'll be at home with your family, right? I was in office working until 11 p.m. All right. So a lot of people, when they hear that, Freddy, you're a cybersecurity professional, is very well paid. Yeah, if you leave to spend the money, right? I just had a dear friend, 55 years of age. All right, he was with one of the big four in cybersecurity. 55 years, cardiac arrest, poop, gone. All right, so unfortunately, cybersecurity professionals don't have the luxury of having a balanced work life. All right. Okay, so moving on. So in Singapore, we came out with a skills framework on how we want the career progression, all right, of cybersecurity professionals to be like. All right, so these are all mapped. So trainers who want to provide courses in Singapore would could actually apply for what we call funding from the government. Now, in order for your course to be funded or sponsored by the government, you need to align, all right, your course with the skills framework. Okay. All right. So, so these are basically in Singapore the cyber talent program. So you can see, starting from pre-tertiary and tertiary, we have what we call the cyber youth, Singapore cyber youth. All right. After which, when you enter the workforce, we have 4 levels, which is entrance, specialists, experts, and leaders. And so we have the CSA, cybersecurity agency, academy, all right, as well as professional conversion and development courses, which the government works with many vendors in the industry. You see that on two pillars, all right, we also have programs to motivate and incentivize women to join the industry. So if you look inside this room, I think there's only like 5 or 3 women, right? That is one of the biggest challenges in our industry, lack of women. And it's not that the job is not suitable for women. As a matter of fact, with cloud computing, there is nothing heavy to carry anymore. Right? There's no cables to lay anymore. I still remember early in my career, the coaxial cable, you have to crawl under the floor, above the ceiling. There's nothing material that you need to do anymore. So the job of a security professional, as a matter of fact, is suitably also for women. All right. And lastly, cybersecurity educators. It's very important that teachers also be aware about cybersecurity because children today are making use of a lot of digital technology, all right, for their coursework, and especially during COVID, all right, they were also doing their education from home. I still remember, you know, in the rush to get everybody online, the Singapore government introduced video conferencing, and unfortunately, they use a particular video conference product, which the pedophiles managed to break into. Right? And guess what? Well, the children really had very good health education, right? Instead of learning mathematics and science. Right? Okay, so the association, we actually have what we call the Student Volunteer Recognition Program. This is a program that we target students in pre-tertiary, all right, in the polytechnics, and we get them involved as a volunteer in cybersecurity, like giving talks to their fellow coursemates, all right. And through this, we actually give awards. So we give gold awards, bronze, silver awards, and bronze awards. And for your information, this program, we have run it for over 5 years. It has become so successful that the gold recipients are actually given scholarships, all right? Because one of the things is you want to hire a cybersecurity professional not because they want to work in cybersecurity because of the pay, all right? You want passion. And passion can be only demonstrated through how they spend their spare time. So that is why employers have also realized that student volunteers are actually a good, they make very good employees, all right? Because they are not there only just for the money, they are there also for the passion. All right, so next, this is the Student Volunteer Awards program. As you can see, they're all very happy. They don't know what they're getting into yet. All right, so and we have been so successful that the secondary schools and the JC students also wanted. All right, so we have now extended the program to the secondary schools. Okay, Cyber Youth Program, where we do training boot camps and capture the flag competitions. All right, and we also work with SENS, all right, to have what we call a Cyber Start online learning program. Okay, this is basically the boot camp. We also make a lot of visits, as a matter of fact, all right. We bring the students to places like Google, all right. We also bring them overseas. So last year we made 2 trips, one to Malaysia, all right, where we had the Malaysian cybersecurity agency to host the students, and we also made a trip to Brunei. So maybe this year we could make a trip to Thailand, all right, to expose the students to different environments. And we also welcome, all right, if any of the organizations in Thailand wish to organize trips for your students to come to Singapore, all right, you can actually work with our association, all right, and we can actually plan for you to visit some of the places, all right, that is involved in cybersecurity. All right, so for women, as you can see, I don't know why there are men there, but it's supposed to be only women. So we do also school talks, all right? A lot of school talks we do. It's very important to reach out when they are young. As a matter of fact, some of the parents, all right, we were surprised when the parents started to give us feedback that they didn't know that there is an interesting career as a cybersecurity professional, all right? And in Singapore, the women in cybersecurity are very successful. As a matter of fact, in one of the years, our women got the second in DEF CON, all right, which is a conference in Las Vegas. Okay, so We also have cybersecurity awards, and this is something that we started because we realized that there are a lot of awards to recognize professionals. But in cybersecurity, unfortunately, you only become famous when your organization is breached. Then everybody knows you are the CISO. Nobody knows who's the CISO of, let's say, for example, in Thailand, TOT. Okay, who knows who's the CISO of TOT? Okay, but when there's a breach, everybody knows him. Now that is not a good way to attract people into the profession. So this is how we want to recognize people. All right. So we have the Hall of Fame. We have the Leaders Award for people who have been in the profession for more than 10 years. All right. For those less than 10 years, it's professional. All right. And we also recognize enterprises like MNCs and SMEs who have been encouraging their employees, all right, to progress in the area of cybersecurity as a career. All right, and one of the interesting things is this particular award is not actually just from the association. You realize that all the cybersecurity organizations in Singapore, all right, from Cloud Security Alliance, CSCIS, High Tech Crime, ISACA, ISC Squared Singapore, OT ISEC, Singapore Computer Society, SG Tech, and even Law Society. They are all part of the committee and they serve as judges. All right, so it's not something which is just our association. All right, we want to be inclusive. We want all organizations that be involved in cybersecurity to actually play a part in recognizing these leaders. All right, body of knowledge. Body of knowledge is very important. This is basically the basis for how professionals can become professionals. All right, I think one of the biggest challenges we have in the industry in cybersecurity is that there is no professionalization. Okay, now to become an engineer, to become a lawyer, to become a doctor, all right, there is a law that requires you to be a member of the local, for example, law society, or even the doctors. All right, the lawyers have to be admitted to the bar. But to be called a cybersecurity professional, anybody can do it. Even an 11-year-old kid who learns to hack can call himself a cybersecurity professional. But what is missing, and I think this is where the industry is suffering from, is what we call code of ethics. It was very sad that it was revealed, all right? I will not name the vendor, that, all right, security professionals actually lie to their customers. Now, if you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, you cannot lie. Okay. There's a code of ethics. If you do that, you can be disbarred as a lawyer. All right, you can be removed as a medical professional. However, in the law, in the cybersecurity, there is no code of ethics unless you become an ISC Squared member, for example, myself, all right, and Kawin. All right, so if he runs foul of cybersecurity, we will disbar him, remove his credentials. All right, so unfortunately, there is no universal or national laws that require cybersecurity professionals to abide with a code of practice. But let me tell you that we're looking forward to the day where cybersecurity professionals will become part of that professionalization. For your information, we are already in discussion with UK Cybersecurity Council. So UK has started that journey. The last act of Queen Elizabeth before she passed on was actually to create a chartership for cybersecurity professionals in UK. All right. So we are in discussion with them to see how we can have cross-recognition, all right, with the UK chartership for cybersecurity. All right. So as you can see, we have developed the ISBOK, the body of knowledge. We have shared this with countries like Brunei, Indonesia, all right, to actually translate it into the local language. We also have MOU with Huawei, all right, whereby their staff will actually be trained based on this particular information security body of knowledge, all right. And we give away these vouchers for examination, all right, to students. Yeah. Okay, so this is our academic partnership with the polytechnics. So all the Singapore polytechnics are actually there, all right. We support them, we provide them with vouchers, all right, to take the examinations. Okay, so the body of knowledge basically has all these domains. Okay, these are the domains. The book is actually available online, all right. You can actually buy it. You can go to our website, all right. And we also run what we call the knowledge series. So we get cybersecurity experts, which are experts in each of these domains, to actually do virtual events. So even you are Thailand, all right, if you sign up as a member of AiSP, all right, which costs you only $10, 10 Sing dollar, all right, you actually receive information about all these events, and you can actually go online and join. Okay, so this is the examination that we have been doing in Singapore, the QISP and the QISA. So what's the difference? Now, a lot of examinations for cybersecurity are very focused on cybersecurity professionals. But we realize that it is not only the cybersecurity professionals that need to be trained on cybersecurity. People who are in software development, people who are in other aspects, like for example in networks, also need to understand cybersecurity. So that is why we came up with another certification called the QISA. QISA will provide you with the basis to understand what is cybersecurity as a job, all right, as a job in IT or ICT. Okay, so I'll not talk more about this because my time is up, right? Okay,